In this video, I promised you a big announcement. However, I have to apologize. I don't have a big announcement. I have two big announcements for you, and one is linked to the other. So the first announcement is actually by the government. A few days ago, on Tuesday, the 24th of July, 2020, these new regulations were laid before Parliament, three very important documents. Let me tell you what they are. The first one is the Town and Country Planning General Permitted Development England Amendment number 2 Order 2020 755. Don't fall asleep, these are really important. The second one is the Town and Country Planning General Permitted Development England Amendment number 3 2020, which is document 756. And the third one, and remember these are going to make you a huge amount of money, is the Town and Country Planning Use Classes Amendment England Regulation 2020 757. So why are these so important? These changes are going to have a huge impact if you're a property investor or a developer. Now these changes are actually not brand new, they've been talked about for a few years. I think it's about 2016 since this started. Some people think that these documents that have been released just now are due to the virus impact and the impact they've had on the market and the result of those. I'm sure that they've had a contribution towards what these final new regulations look like, but that hasn't been the core reason as to why this happened. So why is this so important for us as investors and developers? So you've probably heard about people talking about there's a shortage of accommodation in this country and there's an issue around supply and demand. So what does that mean? It means actually there's much more of a demand because there's a shortage of homes and there's not enough supply, i.e. there's not enough properties for everybody to go around. And sometimes you hear people talk about, look, we live on an island, there's a very limited supply of property. But actually, is that true? Let me challenge that point for a moment. If you look at a map of the UK, you'll see there's actually less than 6% is actually built up. What does that mean? That means the vast majority of this country is actually not built up. Ultimately, it's not an issue of is there enough land? Yes, we live on an island, I agree, but it's not the issue of a supply issue with regards to the amount of space. The issue that we all face and the problem that prevents us from growing and creating more properties and more homes is planning regulation. So there's some rules around what we can create, where we can create that. You might find a beautiful field when you're driving through motorway, you think, oh, it'd be amazing to have a home here. Why can't you just go and build a wonderful home for yourself there? Everything comes back to the control that planning have. This is where everything is about to change. So these new regulations are going to ease planning, which is going to make a huge difference for property investors and developers because the opportunities they're going to create. So let's take a step back first of all and just let's look at what the current system is. Currently, we have 4 classes of uses. Essentially what that means is when you look at properties around us, each property has a use, what we're allowed to do with it. So for example, you can't take a family house and turn it into a nightclub, right? Without going through the planning approvals or being able to get the permission to be able to do that. But there's some things you can do without requiring full permission. So these 4 categories, A, B, C, and D, these are the primary categories. And then we have one that's called sui generis. And sui generis is essentially Latin for something that's, we can't identify or label correctly. And what they do is anything that they can't quite figure out, they just dump it into sui generis. Generally speaking, it will fit into the 4 categories. So for example, some of these you will have come across before. For instance, B1, which is a category within the B section, would be office use. C3 under the C category would be a normal family dwelling. C4 might be a HMO, just as an example. Now, if we're changing a family house to say a C4, which is a 6-bedroom HMO, because it's a non-material amendment, i.e. it's a minor change within the same category, the advantage is we can move without going through full planning, generally speaking. Now, if, for example, you're changing something into a different category, we have to go through the full planning process. So what's happening now is that these are changing completely. So let me give you an example of some of the opportunities that now present themselves to us. You could take an unused building, demolish that building, and build a home on there under permitted development rights without going through the full planning process. You could take a family house and stick a 2-story extension on top of that to develop it further. This is certainly going to be a year that we're going to remember. This could be the opportunity that you've been waiting for, possibly the opportunity of the decade. Now, over the coming weeks and months, I'm going to be sharing how we're utilizing some of these rights that are now available and these changes that happen in planning, and also some of the other ones that you might want to use too. So in our business, we've been anticipating some of these changes. We didn't quite know exactly what they were, but we knew big changes were coming. So Idas and I have been working on this big project to be able to benefit from these changes that are going to happen, to make sure that we can make the most of this year and the next few years with all these opportunities that are going to present themselves going forward. So let's talk about what the big reveal is.
Hey guys, super excited. As you can see, we're actually in a big Mercedes printer van, which I borrowed from the builder. We've just picked up the sign, which I'm super excited. We've kind of briefly had a glance at it from the printers. It looks insane. It is a massive sign. I can't wait to get it up. And you know, as you'll probably get to learn from this video, I actually enjoy doing a lot of this stuff myself. I'm quite passionate when it comes to the DIY stuff. I've kind of grew up on doing a lot of electricals and little things like that. So I'm quite excited about this. We're putting some really nice LED backing lights against it. So it should be really cool. So we're just going to be dropping it off in a minute to the office, and I'll see you guys on the other side.
So Idas, what's the big reveal we've been talking about?
Right, so this is a new project we've been working on, Big Property Group. This is a new brand we're launching that's going to help us align all the property projects into this one brand. So I'm super excited about this. I've really been kind of buzzing about it for a little while. We had to keep it quiet, but here it is now.
Yeah, it's something we've been working on for a little while. What we wanted to do is just align everything that we're doing into a single brand, and there's a significance of why it's happening now.
Yeah, well, July is actually a month that we've been 3 years actually working together with Saj yourself. So I think it's a phenomenal month to be launching this, because it means so much to me, having obviously have been working with you for so long as well, and now aligning this and going into the new horizons and new projects. Super excited.
Yeah, fantastic. You know, I love working with you on this because you have a great mindset, a great work ethic as well. And we, you know, there's so many projects that we've done together. And you know, really, this is about how we take advantage of the next year, the next decade, even, of the opportunities that arise. And we talk about in property, the only certainty is constant change. It's about being able to adapt the market. And particularly over the last few months with COVID and everything that's been going on, some of our businesses have adapted and we've shifted in terms of what we're doing. Although this is something we've been working on for a little while, it's pulling everything together now. So, you know, some of the projects we've talked about in the previous vlogs, what other projects have we been working on the last couple of years?
Yeah, well, actually, we've done quite a lot. Surprisingly, I mean, the 3 years, well, the couple of years we've been actually doing property projects, and specifically, we've done conversions from big residential family homes into very high-end professional house shares. We've then done conversions into studios. We're working on interesting commercial conversions to residential buildings, and then actually even doing new builds now.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, some of these we've been out to see in the previous vlogs, and some of these we're going to go out to see in forthcoming vlogs as well. So, of course, you know, let us know you're finding these useful, you want to watch more of these, you enjoy the walkthroughs on the projects. So, Idas, tell us about maybe a project that we haven't already been out to see on the vlogs.
Right, so we've actually finished off a very nice conversion recently from a big Victorian building into 7 studios. Now, we purchased that project at £249,000. I
was wondering what happened to the other 100,000.
Yep. And this total spend on that was in the region of 120, which is bringing the total spend about 370. And we've had a great valuation that came in recently at £455,000. So giving us a good amount of equity we've built in.
Fantastic. So a nice amount of equity that we've created. Pretty much we have to get all our cash out of that project. We've just gone through the valuation on that, and the surveyor commented it's a phenomenal.
Yeah. So I've actually been with the surveyor himself, and he's obviously, they go through a lot of houses, and they're like, this is exceptional quality. And we put a lot of love and care and attention. And like with me, it's a lot of detail in everything we do, and I think that's like super important in all the projects throughout. So I think that was something that the surveyor was like really.
Yeah, it's the attention to detail I think is really important that we put in, and you obviously a lot of the projects and making sure that they deliver what we expect of them. I know in the last vlog we talked about the builder that we've had to sack that hasn't done a great job. We're getting that one back on track. We'll be back on that site soon, sharing some more of that very soon. So we've also got the website built for this particular project.
We do. So it's going to be just bigpropertygroup.uk. So if you want to go there and actually see a bit more of the projects we're working on, we're going to be fine streaming and like putting more content on there as we go. We've got a handful of projects that we're showcasing there at the moment that we worked on recently, and we'll be populating that obviously with much more information as we go. Another project, for instance, is where we've taken a slightly different approach, and instead of having the traditional 6-month plus tenancies, we've actually done shorter term lets. So for example, we've got an apartment in the city center of Birmingham that we've taken on nearly a year ago now, and we haven't purchased the building. We've taken on a long lease, and we've spent around £10,000 in getting it all renovated and just nicely furnished and decorated. And using our systems and processes, we're actually averaging around £1,000 a month profits on that at the moment.
Yeah, so I guess sometimes people talk about these as rent to rents, and is it a strategy that still works and people still doing it? Yes, we're building up this business or these projects in the short stay sector and service accommodation. And in this particular example, people might be thinking right now, £10,000 in a property we don't own, that's a huge amount of money to put into a property we don't own. But ultimately, as you said, we have it for 5 years. It's going to generate about £60,000 of revenue for us. So, about £50,000 of profit. So when you look at it in that context, the £50,000 profit based on the £10,000 investment is actually a very good return. Certainly one I'm quite happy with. So, these are properties that we'll go out and see in future vlogs. If you're finding these useful, there's one thing that we ask of you. We'd really appreciate if you hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button as well. And when you do that, you'll get the notification bell. Click on the notification bell, and what that will then mean is YouTube will give us some love and start showing this to some other people, which we'd really appreciate, so we can start putting more time and effort into sharing the kind of things that we're doing with you as well. But also what it will mean is you'll get notified as and when we release the videos, and when the information is hot off the press, you get it first. So let us know in the comment section below what else you'd like to see in other vlogs as well. So Idas, whilst we've been working on all these other projects, we've been trying to renovate our office space here as well.
Yes, well, in fact, we've got lots going on, and as you can probably tell, this is the new hub we're creating. So super excited. It's going to allow us to kind of grow this business even further and expand our team. So we've got quite a few exciting things we're planning on incorporating in this hub, which we'll kind of probably share as we go as well. Yeah. And we're nearly there. We've got obviously to finish up the flooring and the lighting and stuff like that, but it's going to be a fantastic place for us to grow the team and embark on the bigger journey.
Absolutely, this is going to be a great extension to our office space at the moment, and as the team grows, certainly a great place to be working from. And as we've said earlier, there's huge opportunities that are in the marketplace right now, and we're gearing up to make sure we're benefiting from those, making the most of those that exist. And some of the things we've been talking about earlier on, we've anticipated, and some of them have come as a pleasant surprise, but still a great opportunity for us to benefit. I said, if you're a property investor, a property developer, you may be thinking you should be getting into, and particularly if you're at that space right now where you're thinking, maybe I've missed the boat. Maybe I should have got started in property 10 years ago when the opportunity was there. I talk about being in property 15 years, there's been a huge amount of change. There's still going to be change going forward, but the best time to start in property is right now, because the opportunities that now lie ahead may be the opportunities of the decade. And if you want to get involved with what we're doing, if you're interested in getting involved in the projects that we're particularly doing, then reach out, ping us a message. If you have access to at least £100,000 funds-wise, we can look at working together on some of the projects that we're working on and what we'll be working on in the coming months as well.
We really appreciate you watching today's video, and we really look forward to seeing you guys on the next vlog.
If you enjoyed watching this vlog, but you missed last week's, then you can grab that up here. Make sure you click on that to watch that. And if you've not watched the very first one we did, it's really important that you watch that because that was a fantastic vlog. You can watch that one just here and look forward to seeing you on the next vlog.